All right, good evening. We'll get started and then get back to talking. The talking's the most important part of this whole gathering. But thank you so much for coming this evening. Many of you know me. I'm Ed Farnell, president of SORBA, and we had a great meeting last month. Hope to have another great one today. What I hope to do is just cover some kind of highlights, and then get back to talking and networking and talking about maybe some upcoming work parties and whatnot that are coming up. So a couple of updates regarding the board. So if you can remember, if you were here last month, we have kind of two main kind of lines of effort right now. One is kind of getting past the hurricane recovery. If we can ever get past that, that would be fantastic. So keeping an eye on recovering the trails. We still got about 8 miles left of that with FAT specifically, but then also an eye toward the future. And part of the future is making SORBA more sustainable. That's through funding, grant writing, community partnerships, and whatnot. So not just on the individual donations and membership, which is great, but some of the more big ticket item things. Seed money for trails, money for mechanized equipment, et cetera. That takes more money than just the individual donations usually that we have. So we have a new board member named Jack Crockett is going to join us as the development director for SORBA. He's going to help us out with many of the things I just mentioned: grant writing, capital campaign avenues that we have, some ideas that we have, community partnerships, potentially even business partnerships that we can have to give discount to members and to entice people to join and whatnot. So and that's his wheelhouse. That's exactly what he's doing in his day job too. So he is very gracious to help us out with that. And he joined us yesterday while he was traveling home from Phoenix via phone during the board meeting. So another exciting development is Scott Bradford, Carlos Galvez's neighbor, who's a graphic designer for EasyGo, has agreed to help us with some graphic design and some a little bit better logos and things like that for volunteer appreciation, for some of the more marketing kind of stuff that we have some ideas to get our name out there in the community and amongst each other, and also kind of beyond our little inner circles. So he's going to help us out a ton with that, which is great. He's got 20 years of experience with it, and we sorely need it. So we're really excited about that. We are still looking for someone to help us with membership. That's a big deal. I was just looking back at a 2016 document that someone was writing for the chapter minutes, and there's like, we have about 150 members and we're looking to grow. Well, guess what? We don't really have that much more than that right now. We definitely have some new blood in the organization, but we've waxed and waned. Over 200, under 200, back and forth, and it really takes someone with their finger on the pulse helping us out with that, not just kind of passively looking at that and getting out in the community, pushing why membership matters, and honestly making it more tangible for people to want to join, frankly. So we do that as a group, but then they can also do that as a membership director. They even have people in Big SORBA doing that constantly, monitoring membership and encouraging membership. So if you have any ideas of a person that would want to help us out with that, I'm all ears and would be grateful for their help. A couple of things for the future as well. Tyler and I had a great conversation with Kenny Griffin, who's in charge of Georgia Cycling Association. Basically, the composite youth teams that are out there. We have one in Augusta, and there's also a trail ranger group, the group in Augusta, which is ages, I think, 5 through 3rd grade. I probably messed that up, but somewhere in that age, younger than the youth composite. So we talked to him about some opportunities about racing in Augusta. He's come out to Augusta once or twice before and looked at the area. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything that really met their criteria currently. There are some possibilities, but nothing like, just carbon copy and go. So he gave us some ideas about when we talk with land managers about future trails, what could be possible hosting a race for a composite team. Everything seems to be over in Atlanta, middle of the state, and even western state, but there's really nothing in the eastern state at all. So the idea would be is looking at some better venues for racing, but that's several years out. What he did encourage us to do though is get involved with the group here in town and cultivate more kids on bikes to get more a bigger team, even multiple teams across the region. That way they'd be more willing to or more able to race here. And then the other thing that we had the consideration of is we really need some more green trails for youth and beginner. Most of our trails are blue, basically. I mean, depending on how you want to categorize it, but there's really no great entry trails for kids, especially with a lot of the erosion that's going on and whatnot. So as we talk to land managers, really looking at creating some more green trails. What that also helps us out with is also adaptive mountain biking trails, because a lot of the green trails are also correspond with the requirements for adaptive mountain biking too. And we even have a conversation coming up this week with a land manager that we might be able to get them convinced on doing something like that. Did you have something you want to say? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I think go ahead. Yeah, there's even like percentage grade and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, 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 absolutely. You also have to have 1,300 to 1,500 parking spaces for the yeah, right. For the yeah, there's yeah, hundreds and hundreds of kids and parents and grandparents and Susies and Bobbies that come out and watch the races and stuff like that. But he has been out before. But anyway, trying to stoke that conversation back and forth. He's really excited about the possibilities here. And so just kind of just updating you on some of the things that we've talked about for the future. We do have two leads in Columbia County right now. It's really not for open conversation, but there's Riverwood Park that Columbia County is starting to design and develop. There are trail plans in that design right now. They're still working with contracting and whatnot, but that would be trails closer to where a lot of people live, which is fantastic. I think the design's still in flux right now, but the idea. Yeah, so Park will be right across from Grace Baptist on Hardy McManus Road. That big, huge plot of land there. It's all forest. It goes all the way down to Uchee Creek. All that will be a park, green space. So there'll be hiking trails there. There'll be mountain biking trails. Hopefully, there'll also potentially be some bike-specific things that probably not really open for a lot of discussion right now because it's still in design. But the idea is there's going to be some more trails in that area. That's right off of the Greenway. So those of you who have already seen, they're widening Hardy McManus. That Greenway will go all the way from it'll go all the way from the canal all the way past Riverwood Park there, past Blanchard Patriots Park. So it'll all connect to Uchee Creek pathway, park, whatever it's called. Yeah, Greenway. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And then Ty and I also have a conversation on Wednesday with the Savannah River Land Trust. They have thousands of acres in their trust that they're looking to put trails on in various areas. So we're going to make some initial conversations with them and see what they're interested in, how they want to preserve the area. And I'm a big advocate. If you want to preserve areas, you put trails in. Trail, what is it? The land needs trails and trails need land. That's kind of the mantra I learned from a few mentors. So anyway, some pretty cool opportunities out there. We're also looking for opportunities in Richmond County as well. We haven't really had any specific conversations with anybody, but we're always willing to look at some opportunities. There are some there, just that we don't have any connections yet with those. So if you have individuals who are looking in Richmond County as well, we're happy to help them. What we've learned mostly is we're not interested in building a bunch of trail. Like we don't have the bandwidth for that, like Sorba specifically. But what we're trying to do is link them up with great plan and designing folks who can talk to them about their needs, and then partnering with them as far as the mountain bike community, the trail, loving community, and see what interest would be out there. So we're definitely not trying to involve us in getting out there and digging in dirt with new trails. We got enough to handle as we as it is right now. But if there's opportunities to partner with them later on, we're happy to have those conversations. We had a great Explore the Trail ride at Horn Creek yesterday, right? God, time flies. So we had a bunch of new people out there that had never been on the trail before, which was great to see. Brian, Max, any things, any feedback on that? People. Yeah. Been out there. Yeah. Yeah. People from Aiken, probably 15 people so and probably 12 of them are team police have not been there before at all. Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool to see that we actually have trails to explore now. So that's good. Uh, maybe we can continue that, and we traditionally do outline trails, but there's some opportunities to do it FATS, I think, too, and whatnot. So oh, yeah. So Max mentioned that maybe we did not ever make Horn Creek stickers. Or at least he didn't have any yesterday to give out, but I can't remember whether Nathan made Horn Creek stickers specifically or not. Did we? Okay. I feel like we did an ETTR at Horn, but maybe we didn't before the. Yeah. Anyway, we'll ask Nathan to see if he has any previously. Just so y'all know, y'all probably already know this. FATS was closed for about 5-6 days due to heavy rain. So thank you for honoring the closure. And we hope to not have too many of those. But I think what we're also seeing, for those I have not ridden it yet, but I've heard reports back, it's very different after it rains now. Number one, obviously in the wintertime, there's not a lot of stuff to soak up the water anyway. But with all the hurricane damage, it's definitely, water's draining in way different places now. So we're really going to have to watch those eroded areas. They're going to happen a lot faster. Yeah.
These closures, we were so fortunate it's been very dry for over a year. So this closure was really, we haven't seen one in a while, official closure. But it is real important that we honor the closure. I'm not necessarily with the group, but communicate that to your friends and your peers, because all of that dirt work we've been doing, it's fragile. It takes time for that stuff to get in. So we put wheels on it when it's not quite ready, and it's damp, and we're going to cause long-term damage. So it's just really be mindful of that and honor the closures, and not just wheels, feet too. Just trail users in general.
Yeah. My hope is that with all the work that's been done, people kind of honor it a little bit more. But you always got the people that they go out there anyway. But yes, you're right. With the recent work, it's even more fragile. Unfortunately, it's going to take several years for that work to bed in. And honestly, we're going to have to redo a decent bit of it along. We have, just so you're aware, and I talked about this briefly. We have Volunteer Appreciation Day on May 2nd. So please mark your calendars for that. We're really excited. The venue and the festivities are to be determined, but we haven't done it in over a year, really, since the storm. And so we're really hoping to have some really great stuff for you. Hopefully have some updated shirts, volunteer shirts. That's one of our main goals for you, for those of you that have worked out there, and also hopefully some really great swag as well. So the 2nd of May. A couple of trail updates, and then I'm almost done. Bartram, Modoc, Turkey, and Wine are all under contract right now in some various degrees of form with the land managers. So SORBA specifically will not be responsible for clearing or revamping those trails, thankfully. We'll pop some popcorn and watch it happen, hopefully. We do anticipate having some work after whatever is done, right? So there's always, as Jake mentioned, the trails are pretty fragile after any work is done. and I'm sure there's going to be maintenance that's going to need to be done afterwards. But we're very thankful that we're not out there with saws and boots trying to do those trails. Those especially the flooding, that was massive. And so just so you know, that's underway, and we don't have a timeline necessarily. I think Modoc Turkey and Wine, hopefully this spring is when the crew comes off of what they're doing now that's contracted, and then we'll start clearing that. Mistletoe is also flagged. So all the trees more or less are cut on mistletoe, the inner loop of Rock Dam. Okay, the outer loop there past the Rock Dam crossing, that unfortunately some of that is going to get beetle reclamation, basically forested or harvested for beetle damage. So we don't exactly know. We're thinking we're going to get a map of where that's going to actually happen pretty soon. And if that's the case, we're going to try to talk with the rangers about putting a new back door in. If the area that is not going to get hit with the forestry is or the logging we can create. We have it flagged. There's about 25 areas tread work. It's really not that bad at all. Both Keg and Mistletoe really didn't get hit that bad. The gully, the famous gully, and the off-camber root section are the two sections that really need the most work to make it rideable again. Everything else is a little bit nice to have, but not need to have. And Greg Hilton is all over it. He's helping to maintain or to lead that effort. But we are also trying to get Mistletoe up and going as well. They're also working on some new trail between the boat crossing and the beach trail. They're going to try to put in 2 to 3 more miles of trail between those two areas as well. That's the state park doing that with the Corps. So don't have a timeline on that, but that's pretty exciting as well. It's a great area. The top of tower got mown recently. The jungle got slightly defeated there. The rest of tower is going to need it as well, because it is an absolute jungle there. It laughs at weed eaters now. It sort of even laughs at DRs in some areas. So that'll get done hopefully over the next few weeks or so. And then the big push is to finish FATS. That's what we'd really like to do, hopefully within the not too distant future. In order to do that, we need to get the bottom of Deep Step done. There's about 25 to 30 places left to do-ish on Deep Step. Still got a good bit of work to do on Big Rock East, and then all of Tower needs a lot of help. The first opportunity, the next opportunity to do that is Saturday. Angela is leading a work party on Deep Step on Saturday.
So please sign up.
Oh, tomorrow.
So we've got potential of 2 of our meetings, possibly 3rd person. Really going to support this because we've got 32 projects left on each sector. And you can literally get this, we can make a big hint in that if we can get people in there on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's getting hot. That soil is going to be rock hard because this is work of play. Everybody knows that it's moving serious. So we need to get in there and get it now. So sign up for you can work on Saturday. We have like 8 to 12.
Awesome.
I searched. There has not been. So there needs to be, but there has not been a Horn Creek.
Not a Horn Creek. So be thinking about what you want on the sticker. What do you say? Trail champion. Yeah, be thinking.
Don't put his face on it.
Yeah.
Scare the hell out of people. Scare the hell out of people. They don't even know what.
Member sticker for being a member. Or
We
flag or sometimes you got to shame people and do something. Where's your hat or where's your shirt?
yeah, absolutely. We definitely have been giving out SORBA stickers, the actual,
Membership. I'm a member.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think Big SORBA was sending out our logo with a member label on there, but I think they nixed that because they were doing that for all the chapters in SORBA land, and that was just an expense that they thought maybe was unnecessary.
yeah.
But there's no reason well, I'm not gonna speak for Hefe here, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we'll get the Sorba NRA stickers out there and put it on the back of the trucks. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding with you. I'm just.
Like that, yeah, numbers up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I mean, some.
So where's it connect? You're like, come on.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what what someone to help us with membership would be thinking about those things is to say, hey, what are some additive? Some people like stickers, right? Some people like shirts. Some people like a discount at a bike shop. Some people like, so, what are the opportunities for us to be able to get more people interested in helping us join? Ultimately, we want people out, helping on the trails, but, you know, the more members, the better for sure. It never hurts to have more people, even if they never lay a hand on a DR mower or a string trimmer. If they can join us and be a part of the community and want to do that, yeah, speaking of that, so it probably would help to put out maybe a few surveys here and there of what people would be most interested in for sure.
is there a effort to get people that are not necessarily non-bikers? I know we've done a lot with the trail runners, but hikers and stuff to be involved to help maintain the trails and stuff, because I know Angela's been saying for years, we're not a mountain bike club, we're a trail advocate.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
there-
Yeah, so there's a great question about other trail users trying to invite them. And I think we have offered a lot of opportunities, to them. Nathan Maxwell is on the board, and he's, has been a trail runner liaison for many years. The other thing that we're trying to do is, and Jake can maybe help me out with this too, because he's offered an an olive branch to all the trail runners and the hikers and whatnot, for many years, trying to, even on the social media pages, us getting on there and advertising like work parties and opportunities to be able to come help and whatnot. Got one right here sitting on a picnic bench, so
It's 15% of our members are trail runners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to identify exactly how many, because I have to know, like, I know a lot of people, but then I don't necessarily recognize every name. And I hate to ask that, and I hate to say, are you a trail runner or whatever? But at least 10 to 15%. Now hiking that's been harder, but we have hikers come during hurricane relief. Yeah, come to some of the work parties.
Yeah. And Carlos has been known to give a shovel to a random poacher on the trail that he's working on. He's like, well, while you're here, you might as well fill this hole. And sometimes they help him out. So, but no, that's a great question. I would love to continue to do what Jake did under his leadership of really trying to branch out more than just mountain bikers, because there's a whole lot of people that use the trails that may be interested in helping out for sure. There's no chapter meeting next month, because it's April and Masters and stuff like that. So there's no point in doing that. We'll meet again in May, but actually the next opportunity to meet again as a group will be the volunteer appreciation, because the chapter meeting will be after that. So hopefully look forward to seeing you on the 2nd. And then the other thing is just National Trails Day is 6th of June. And I'd love to brainstorm with the group on what we'd like to do. We've done work parties before, we've done rides before, we've done fun, we've done work. There's a lot of opportunities to be able to make that, make the most of that day. But if y'all have ideas or interest, I'm all ears.
In the past, long past, we used to do something at Long Cane on Trails Day. Is it possible to bring that back? Because that's a trail that, if you don't know it, it's scary to go ride it.
Yeah.
And get some people out there
Yeah.
that haven't ridden out that.
Yeah.
Years and actually got great participation, as you know, about 75 people, but it did not help with the growth. And then that's the important part. And for us that are organizing it, that's a long haul. Now, I took it because I love K Trail, but you had our people that it is still there, but you'd have great participation, but it did not increase. It didn't help. It didn't help from a membership or a volunteer standpoint, even for their trails. So that's the only negative there. But we loved it. We did it for
Yeah. Yeah.
Each route.
Yeah.
To fats.
Yeah. But Well, we can talk about it. I mean, it's certainly an option, and certainly an open trail. So that's good.
Realistic.
Yeah,
Needed a big one.
that's true.
That bathroom, you know, the nice bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. That's all I have. Any questions or yeah, for the big group, and then we can break up into so Max got.
And so for the last meeting, about a month and a half ago, we met Forest Service, so, you know, you and Jake was there, you guys were there.
Oh, yeah.
In that meeting, we were talking about turkey and line and modoc, but one thing that came up about turkey was they looked at the old Key Bridge and they saw the damage on it, and their first response is tear it down, just get rid of it. That bridge was built, I think, in the 20s. It was down on Highway 17 near Georgetown. It was dismantled and brought back up, rebuilt where it is. It's a very historic bridge. The damage that there's is a section about as far as here to that wall. They got knocked out, a tree fell through it. They're saying the retaining wall on the far side has a big crack in it, but that big crack's been there as long as I've been out there riding. So, but the, the thing is historic. Also, if they tear it down, there's a safety issue now because you got to park. The only parking lot is still on the other side of the creek. You'd have to ride out on the road, come across the bridge, ride back into the woods to get to Turkey Creek Trail. So I think we need to get ahead of that. I'm going to go talk to them myself because they're in Edgefield. I'm in Edgefield, so I can just go right down there and meet with them, talk to them. Do I have SORBA backing, chapter backing to say we want to save that bridge? Or, I mean, I can just go to my own, but
Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about it yesterday in the board. I think from a realistic standpoint, what we would be in favor of is keeping access in that area of Turkey Creek, right? So you don't go all the 617A or whatever it is at the other, side, because that's really the only other place, unless you, like you said, park down the bottom and ride across the road and whatnot. So we would advocate for some sort of um, official parking area for that aspect of Turkey Creek. Not only that, but Wine Creek, right across the street. Whether that's preserving the bridge or a better parking area on the side of Turkey Creek, obviously the Forest Service, may make that distinction. So I would love just safe access, period. And I think that's what the board agreed. If we can do it and save the bridge at the same time, yes. I would imagine that the funds to do that are a lot more than like a better parking area on the Turkey side. Like if what was it? $2 million to repair the bridge. Yeah, I mean, so from a standpoint of we would love to have better access to that side of Turkey, however it happens, SORBA's all about it. And then, yes, I mean, if it's an opportunity to be able to salvage the bridge, for sure. I don't know what weight we would have to say, you've got to do the bridge versus the better parking on that side. That may be a less expensive thing. Unfortunately, it sounds like there's a ton of artifacts on that side as well that may be challenging to put a parking lot in that area. So the bridge might be still the best option potentially for that. But yes, preserving a non-road, like riding on the road area to park to access Turkey Creek, 100%. Yeah, I'd say the board would be 100% for that. Yeah. And then we go ahead. Yeah. I think Jake's got more.
To piggyback on what Max said, if you do have a personal preference or desire to see that bridge saved, and this is, I highly recommend you get on the forest supervisor or Roderick Alfred's calendar. He is the ranger for Long Cane Ranger District, and talk to him personally, just like Max is going to do. The more people that step up and do that, make your voice heard. He may turn his head just a little more and say, okay, maybe this thing is worth saving. And don't stop there. Hit the forest supervisor's office as well in Columbia. you know, it comes down to how bad you want to save this bridge. So
One of the things we could consider, Max, is, you know, we can talk about briefly on the board is, you know, do we want to do a SORBA petition, you know, to help the individuals out so they're not, you know, hitting Roderick up individually, although that might be also not, yeah, for sure. But talk about whether we want to try, you know, how many signatures could we get on there from SORBA members that would be interested in saving the bridge. That way it's not just you or just me or just, you know, and maybe there's maybe more than we think. Yeah. Paul, you had yeah. Oh yeah, is that
I wouldn't give it. Just keep it.
yeah, yeah. So they're continuing to look, the Forest Service is continuing to look at upgrades at the Fats Trailhead. There are designs out there for potential pavilion, designs out there for picnic benches, designs out there for redoing the parking lot a little bit, accessible parking as well. That's kind of big on their agenda. So we got some good momentum to update the facilities at the Fats Trailhead, which is great. Nothing's in stone at all. They're not promising anything, but there are a lot of really good potential drawings that we're starting to see, and we're giving them feedback. And the architectural design person, the landscape architecture person, is sending us stuff, and we're giving some feedback on what he's sending us, which is great. So they're leveraging SORBA's input for that, which is I'm super excited about. Someone else had their hand raised too. Ollie, did you have?
They have charcoal places so you can draw it.
Can't remember if that was in the drawing or not with the picnic tables.
Drawing the initial discussions going on, there was concern about having open fires and how do you manage that? You know, so there's that.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any official, you know, like fire pits or anything like that.
Yeah. Right. That's separated out. Yeah. Yeah, we can certainly give them feedback on that for sure. Yeah. The Corps does it, you know,
Yeah.
right? What else? Anything else? Yeah.
So in terms of getting out to the community, it's other than that,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Trying to get out into the, not just the running community, but the hikers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The question is, nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Or what you're doing, or even knows it's like, oh, there's a trailhead over here. They have no clue who's taking care of it. They think,
Yep.
oh yeah, well, the state's taking care of it, or the Forestry Service,
Yep.
or stuff like that. So have you thought about maybe doing something like, I don't know, maybe an information booth at the Augusta, the market, the farmer's market?
You're getting in that case, you're getting a different group of people.
Right, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
In terms of a different group of people. I know we've had a little more surge just getting down, like we've got more soldiers coming for Fort Gordon, you know, opening up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the question is, how are we getting out to find those people other than just seeing them on the trail? Is kind of where you have to kind of think outside the box.
Yeah. No, that's great feedback. We definitely have talked about social media is a silo, right? You have the same, you know, people that are looking at that all the time. So you're really not going to reach a ton more people with that. We even have members, we even have board members who are not on social media. And so we realize that that's not an end all be all. We have talked about having a better presence at the trail heads. So you have people that are utilizing the trails, and you have to kind of have to work with the land managers to see what they're willing for us to put out there, right? Because it is their land and it's not SORBA's trails, it's their trails, but we, let's face it, do majority of the work. So having some better marketing materials kind of at the trailhead as you're walking in. Hey, these trails are maintained by SORBA. Please join us. Or are you interested in what we do? And We have a kiosk. We had a kiosk area. And again, with the graphics design person, that would be nice to kind of revamp that. But even along the trails, we've talked about having some, hey, did you know that this group helped, rebuild the trails after Helene? Would you be interested in what we do or joining us? Or you can't solicit openly on public land for donations. So you have to kind of tiptoe around that, but you can solicit like joining a group on public lands, and then of course you have abilities to be able to donate from there. But yeah, we've tried to get on the CSRA, hikers and the trail runners and stuff like that, social media pages. And then what we're trying to do is even amongst the group that the 10 to 15% of folks that are helping that are not mountain bikers, we're trying to have them be ambassadors for the group as well, saying, hey, I helped on a weekend, you should come help too, and kind of word of mouth there. And if we can have some, yeah, either unofficial or official leaders in those capacities kind of sell our wares, so to speak, and the benefit that we have toward the trail, then we can get maybe more people to join and to join us. So say it again.
They do. There's
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Lucy.
It's not sanctioned. It's not like SORBA. It's not a nonprofit. It's a Facebook group. It's a core group of runners that kind of hold it together.
They get together and meet.
no,
They do.
not like not. It's not huge.
Parking lot, they're right, they set up and cook breakfast and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Fire going. They gotta let us be.
The problem, I don't want to, I mean, the problem with that group too, is just a core group, but just like this,
Yeah.
it's the same people week after week, or month after month, after meeting, but I think to Ed's point, y'all, it's like word of mouth and telling your peers and your friends, like speak us up and tell folks, communicate the good work that you're doing and how they can get involved because, leadership, we can do it. I mean, we've had billboards, all kinds of stuff out there, but until you can reach out to that person individually and say, hey, this is what I do, this is what we do, and this is how it benefits you, and have that personal conversation and make that personal connection. I think, that's probably at least.
And one other issue with some of the hikers we've had is, okay, you guys are mountain bikers and you're runners. It's a little different level of activity than a hiker. And sometimes we kind of wear them out and they don't come back because, you know what I'm saying? No, they're out there and they're doing the DR mowers and all, but even us, sometimes we come back and think, why are we doing this? They really do for some of those people.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, if you have ideas I think we're always weighing the juice and the squeeze, right? And so we have been out, like we've popped a tent places and we've spent a whole day somewhere and we've got not like a lot of interest, and we're like, yeah, this is probably the wrong place to be, kind of deal. And then you have volunteers who spend their whole day there and they're like, not sure if that was worth it or not. But we also need to lower the bar of people joining us, because sometimes we don't have like the business card to give them with the QR right immediately there. It's like, well, go to SORBA-CSRA website and then go here and then go there. And so we could definitely do a better job of having stuff at the ready. Again, I think at the trailheads where people are every day, all day, that would be, great. And then having opportunities when we have a volunteer appreciation, if we have it at Fats Trailhead, you have a big party there, and then that's an opportunity for people like, hey, what's going on over there? Like, what do you do? And so we've gotten both donations and memberships just by doing things, outwardly and attracting, people in.
Say with the runners, you gotta keep hitting up fleet feet.
Uh-huh.
And over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah, that's a great point.
They may have a smaller trail run group, but
Yeah.
they have a huge
Yeah.
run group that goes out from the store in North Augusta
Yeah.
all the time. And
And to your point,
they're a little bit of a tougher nut to crack. Yeah.
but I think everyone here has noticed, or if you haven't, just take a moment to think about this. Since Hurricane Helene, you go out to Fats and you look at that parking lot and you look and see who's hitting those trails? I mean, the hikers are coming out in
Yeah.
force.
Yeah.
The trail runners are coming out in force, more than they have pre-Helene. That's an opportunity for us. You know, we gotta figure out how to bring them aboard. One thing we've struggled with as well is our brand, right? SORBA-CSRA, Southern Off-Road Bicycle Association, right there. Folks here, I've set up a tent at trail running events before and had runners come up and say, "Oh, what are you guys about? Oh, we take care of the trails. So what does SORBA-CSRA stand for? Oh, you're a mountain biking organization." And they walk away. You know, it's like, no, but you're not getting it, you know, and you can tell.
But we're not e-bikes.
It's been, I thought someone said last meeting, there's a way to change the name as long as there's silver attached to it and stuff. But
There is some talk about that, but I mean, you're talking rebranding,
okay,
and there is a whole bunch.
No, this is, it is the mountain bikers that
Yeah.
formed this into the
Yeah.
trails and all that. So that you don't want to change. You don't want to change that. You just want to say this is the group. And I did some
Good.
research on it, and the culture is part of the problem. Mountain bikers initially could not get onto those hiking trails and stuff. And we managed to get in there, and then we became trail stewards. So we became the people that came, and we had to be the good guys that came and did this stuff. Every group has a different culture. Hikers will hike over anything. They don't care if there's 10 trees down, they're gonna hike over the top of it. So part of it's culture.
Ed, you said that a business card that we could give. When I'm out at home,
What?
into hikers.
Sort of
I talk to them,
Yeah.
I say, hey, you can join. We have, I say a bunch of people are not, they're runners, they're hikers. And
Yeah.
stuff. You can look into it.
Yeah.
But again, it's saying stuff instead of giving them a card.
Yeah.
Sort of, but
Trail advocate.
trail advocate.
Yeah.
You put bicycle.
We always mention trail users. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always say trail users.
Organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. And yes.
So you can
Yeah.
include all of them.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe on that little sticker you're talking about, just instead of just a little bicycle, you need to add a little runner and a little
Yeah.
hiker on there, you know.
Yeah.
I can-
Yeah.
A hiker and runner, they look the same.
One has,
No.
one is a bigger pack.
You have different shoes on, right?
The cool thing about, the cool thing about us being one of many chapters is we don't have to reinvent the wheel with this stuff. There are other chapters that have already cracked that nut. You know, you look at Knoxville or the Aniston folks, they have trail runners within SORBA. We just need that trail runner to step up and not just be a liaison, but say, hey, I'm gonna organize trail runner under SORBA, and you will be a part of SORBA, but we're the trail running line. Or there are, like, we'll say Bump in Alabama, in Birmingham, they have an all women's mountain bike group within their chapter. I think if we can get, again, I don't know, you know, speaking from the board's point of view, if we can get some momentum with these groups that will run within their little micro group, I think we could gain some traction there.
Grafting them in as SORBA leading the trail. Right. Yeah. The trail advocacy. And then you have different arms of that SORBA group interested in, and we're runners, we're hikers, but we understand that SORBA leads the charge on getting the trails better and keeping them good and whatnot. Yeah. Gabe, did you have something?
Yeah, I know you mentioned that soliciting for donations is an issue with public land. But is there I would assume there's a lot more opportunity for posting a calendar of events that we have planned for work parties, volunteer appreciation. If we had a QR code to the website, as long as we keep it updated with events coming up in the next month or two. I know that can be a challenge scheduling work parties out so far in advance.
Can't do it.
But
One of the things that we can do though for like volunteer appreciation, National Trails Day, that kind of stuff. We could leverage the website for those things.
Can we leverage the message board on the trailheads for stuff that's not soliciting donations or membership for events that are our calendar?
Yes.
A QR code that sends you right there,
Yes.
and a temporary or a changeable one for the more like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we got a work party coming up. Come help us improve Deep Step or help us improve Tower.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the work parties have been a slightly different nut to crack, because I would love to get to I think where organizations, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you got way more experience, where organizations have uh, been successful in that is they have a maintenance day every third Saturday, right? So they're always out there every third Saturday, and if 5 people show up or 20 people show up or 50 people show up, they have an idea of what they can do with those individuals. Some of these work parties are like specifically, we need to get this done and we only need 10 people. If 20 people show up, unfortunately, you got a lot of people kind of doing this, or you need more trail crew leaders. And that's what we talked about yesterday as well in the board meeting is we need more trail crew leaders. For instance, Saturday, right? uh, to do root balls, you need someone who knows kind of what they're doing to say, "Hey, group of 3, this is our goal, and we're going to do the next 3 root balls here." If you don't have those individuals and you have 50 people show up and you have one leader, you don't really have a very good way of doing it. So yes, I would love eventually if we could get to, hey, every third Saturday is a trail work for Sorba, and we have 10 trail leaders who rotate, leading that Saturday. So it's not just one person, always kind of, rounding up the crew. Then you have an idea of like, hey, if you have 10 people come, great. We have this idea. If we have 20 people come, I think that's where they've been more successful with like broad, like,
They're consistent.
announcements.
Yeah.
Can I add that real quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I heard you know this. Once we hit the middle of June, it's every weekend through September. So it didn't matter every third Saturday, we're out there. Unless it's raining, we're out there every single weekend to be able to go on trail. Every single weekend.
So we could potentially leverage the kiosk or the trailhead to say, hey, from June to September, what we would love to do is for people right now, because we do have DRs and string trimmers and stuff like that to kind of we'd love for them to email, to actually sign up and not just like show up with, 5 family members. Cause sometimes it is a little hard to be, oh, what do we do? But yeah, I think we could leverage some opportunity to be able to put some stuff on the kiosk or a revolving kind of thing especially for the foliage, maintenance. That's a great idea. Yeah. All good thoughts. All good thoughts. Anything else from anybody? All right. I think we got about 5 minutes or so left. You can leave early if you want to. We got some great, if you want to sign up for Saturday, I think Angela's got a list here. We'd love for you to help. And then we've got some more opportunities coming up. But thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it.
If you haven't signed in, sign in.
I don't know. I was hoping to do it some Wednesdays this month.
Oh, the sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think it's that.
We got the volunteers for that one.
But probably.
Yeah, we got Pat.
Next opportunity for me to be honeycomb. That's it.
Well,
Just doing it right out of my house.
they're talking about doing the work part. So I'm trying to figure out if.
No, I think we got to handle it.
Like I told Lynn, oh, it's kind of just a local.
Yeah.
We're just.
Yeah, and there may be.
If you guys ever get more people than you have
Right.
volunteers,
Well,
give me a shout and I'll start signing up for those.
some of it is whether things like that makes a difference.
Yeah.
We had one sign last month.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at the calendar for Catalyst. I think it was like a week or two. It's about 2 weeks ago. I looked at it and I was like, holy heck, I'm missing events. I thought this was supposed to start on the 28th. But then I saw, I was like, oh, some of these are sponsored by Walton Options, and it's like a one-on-one kind of thing. So
We're doing it at our, that's from our finance,
okay,
you know, so, yeah. And I don't have to load it. That thing's a beast, man. I'm telling you.
is that just like greenway riding or
Yeah, 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 you can take it up and down through there. We went by ourselves, me and Michael. With the bridge and down the canal on the side of and got back almost to my house. Little hill right there, going up into the neighborhood, and my chain. And it was, that's a first, that's a new one. I knew Michael had a link, so he fixed it now.
okay.
So it was like, oh, yeah, man, that's done.
But just know that even if you fix it right there, chain could be, that's usually a leading indicator of the chain that needs to be replaced. Is the whole thing is starting to wear down.
Okay. Now, I was looking at change.
I've been comparing different types of lube and KFC and Shimano chain. And so far I'm finding that the lubricant doesn't make a difference as long as you're keeping it lubricated and somewhat clean. But the one Shimano that I've done did not last nearly as long as the two KMC chains that are
AMC. Are those e-bike chains or the same?
these are just, I don't ride e-bikes. They're
Regular chains?
They're just regular chains. The
Is that,
it's an
now,
AC chain that I've
and
been
I know that they have e-bike chains. And that's just a fact. Did you something there? Milking out the packs.
So it's not for sure, but I do know that e-bikes are heavier and they can apply more load to those chains. So online research is going to tell you a little bit more on how many people think that it's a load of BS.
What do you think? KMC chains?
I think it's the brand is KMC. They're cheaper than Shimano generally, but so far on my 8-speed road bike, they've been lasting longer, more miles.
But